But the one that we were encouraged to really listen to was our oldest sibling. They always say, kid, which would mean, go ask your oldest brother. Kid. I often wondered, why would they send me to my oldest brother? And later on, of course, I learned that they had already given him the instruction, and he had learned. So they would say, go ask your brother. In the traditional teaching of our Dene, there are certain individuals in our lives that we're supposed to be willing to listen to, and we are encouraged to listen to and to learn from. And many times we understand, our mother and our father is people that we are supposed to listen to, as well as our grandparents, both on our mother's side and father's side, more so on our mother's side. And then, of course, we have aunt and uncle on your mom's side. Those are the people that we are encouraged to really listen to. But there is one that is far more important as far as who we follow and who we listen to and so on. And I bring this up because it is the oldest sibling in your family. It might be an older brother, oldest brother, or the oldest sister. For myself, just a few days ago, I did lose my oldest brother. And he was 83 years old. And all that time that he has lived, and that he has been responsible in many, many ways. And I know that when my mother and father had to go off to do migrant work, there were times when he had to be the one responsible. And the word was Lakeba, which was the instruction that was given to him, which means take care of your siblings. Which actually means or use good judgment, and you do the thinking for them. And so that was the teaching that was given to him, or to her, the oldest sibling. And so it was my oldest brother's responsibility many times to take care of us younger ones. He would do the cooking. He would do the thinking as to when we needed to go get water or to get wood, and to take care of the livestock. And so it was that he was responsible for all of that. He was in charge. And so it is with the oldest sibling in all of the families of the Dene. And so besides thinking that grandma and grandpa on mom's side and aunt and uncle on mom's side are important people to learn from, but the one that we were encouraged to really listen to was our oldest sibling. And the reason that they always say, kid, which was given instruction to me, which would mean, go ask your oldest brother and go inquire with their question to your oldest brother. Kid. And so I often wondered, why would they send me to my oldest brother? And later on, of course, I learned that they had already given him the instruction, and he had learned. And so they didn't want to repeat themselves too often, and so they would say, go ask your brother. And so many times I was sent to ask my brother, my oldest brother, and he was very positive in the way that he would share the information with me, and he would give me back and the information or answer the question I had. But he always reminded me, when we got older, he said, because some of the work that he did was in broadcasting, and he was in not only in radio broadcasting, but he also participated in many motion picture productions. And it was with a lot of people that were celebrities. And of course, one of the last ones he worked on was the Wind Talker with Nicolas Cage and Adam Beach. He was an advisor on the language. So if you ever see the movie and you see the credits, he's there, Gilbert Brown, and that was his name. We have 10 boys in our family, and we have three girls, and he was the oldest. And after all of our relatives had passed on, he was always the one that we all went to. And whenever we had serious questions and that about certain subjects. And when I had the opportunity to talk with him here a few weeks ago, we met and we talked for quite a while, and probably about 4 or 5 hours we were together, and we ended up going to grab some food before I hugged him and expressed my love and gratitude to him. And I always did that when we had been together, and that was the thing that we recognized our appreciation and love for one another as siblings. And the thing that I think about my brother Gib is that he knew a lot about me. He knew a lot about me because I shared my feelings and my thoughts and that with him openly. And besides my late wife, my brother was second in knowing a lot of things about the way that I thought about things and my feelings about things and the things that I had done in life. But the last time I was with him and I was asking him about some things and that, and we talk about being in sacred places, being in very special places, because that's one of the ceremonies that's coming up here pretty soon after the fall season, and that is the Dakai, which is walking with the holy people, and that's the Yebiche type of ceremonies and that, and the idea of being among holy people or walking with holy people is something that we talked about, and putting yourself in a position where you can really be among holy people, among sacred beings. And one of the things that he mentioned is that he says, he called me Be Kissy, and that's what we called each other, Be Kissy. So he would say to me, Be Kissy. And then in Navajo, he would, of course, tell me, he says, I never ask any of my brothers or my sisters and that to do things that I did not do. I did not make an effort to do. He says, I left that up to them. He says, I've made a lot of blunders in my life. And he says that he's working on those and he's understanding that he has to do better. And so I have known him to treat his children far better than most people treat their children, far better. And he loved his children and he loved his grandchildren. And he was always bragging about that one or this one, and let me know that those children and that were accomplishing certain things. And it was his joy in that to see them doing the things that they were able to do for themselves. But at the same time, there were some things he was disappointed in as well, and those he shared with me as well. I relied a lot on the things that he was aware of and the things that we did. He was always free with his information whenever I would ask him. And he had many friends. My gosh, he had a wonderful smile. He was always smiling and always making people laugh. And he had a great sense of humor. And I learned that was very important, is the humor. And what he did and the way he did it was based on traditional ways. He knew how to joke about different clans and that. And I'm not very good at that, and but he was superior at it. And so I really appreciate my brother, and I certainly will miss him. And I will remember always the things that he taught me. He was, I remember when I was maybe 1 or 2 years old, I remember him carrying me on his back with a blanket, and it was at nighttime. And he was carrying me somewhere. And then I also know that whenever I went away to some place other than home, military, he was the one that picked me up. And he's the one that also always wrote to me, or he would be the one that always made phone calls to me. And he's the one that let me use his car when I went to the prom. And he was the one that was always there when I had accomplished the things I did in life when I graduated. And him and his wife and family were there, and that is things that I remember. And so there was great things. He always supported me when I was doing the right things and that. And when I was doing things the wrong way, he would always remind me. But the other thing that was so very important to know about my brother is that on the reservation and in the lives of many families, we have people that are addicted to various drugs or alcohol. This brother of mine never ever used alcohol or used any type of illicit drugs in his life. And he encouraged me, and he, of course, was always an example in that way, is that do not use substances that mess up your mind and give you wrong answers to things in your life. And that's one of the greatest things that I admire about my brother, is that when he understood something, he stood by it, and he taught it. And so it was that I always appreciate that about my brother Gib. And he told me a lot of things. We discussed a lot of things, of the things that we learned from our elders. And during my last meeting with him, he was telling me about a young man that he saw holding up a sign that said he was homeless and he would like some money. And so he approached that young man and he told him, he says, "You are he said, "You have many relatives, your aunt, your uncles, your cousins and that. All of them in some way, they can help you. But you've got to go and do that for yourself." Which is, if it's going to be that you want to have a home, you want to have some way to make a life for yourself, as the Navajo or as the you are not a person without relatives that will help you. And so when he was telling that young man that, he says that the young man just stood there and looked at my brother, and then he made an obscene gesture with his finger. And that is the kind of thing that our young people are trying to be acceptance to, and that is wrong. And that's what my brother and I are concerned about in many ways, is our younger people are not learning the ways to honor themselves. When they honor themselves, they can honor the elders, and they can honor their own people. But once they don't honor themselves and they don't have the respect for themselves, they don't respect the things that are the things that we are told.
Hey, thanks for watching our videos. If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss one of our uploads. Also, head over to our website, NavajoTraditionalTeachings.com. Sign up for our email list. Okay.